Welcome to the Allegrativity Powercast with Allegra Sinclair. Get ready to punch fear in the throat, show up, and tell your story. Allegra Sinclair is here to help you become the powerful woman you are meant to be. It's finally time to get unstuck and reveal how fabulous you are. And it's time for your host, Allegra Sinclair.
Hey, this is Allegra, and welcome. Today's episode is called Why Your Goals Should Be Fiery Panties. And I could also have titled this episode, the episode where I encourage you to fly your freak flag, and you'll know why in just a moment. But I've been working really hard behind the scenes on two projects. One, refining my business and podcast to better reflect my strengths and make sure I'm pouring myself into the right people. And two, helping other powerful women tell their stories through their own platforms and podcasts. Now, these are both awesome projects, and I have a ton of energy and passion for both, so I am having a ball. I especially love that I'm taking a hard look at what I'm offering in my business. It keeps my analytical skills sharp and helps me make sure that I haven't gotten lost in the hustle and bustle of everyday life. So as part of my work at sharpening the focus for this podcast, I've been working with a designer on new podcast artwork. But my current artwork is aight, but it isn't pow-pow. You know what I mean? I wanted to be sure that I'm really authentic in all of my branding. So for instance, my tagline, punch fear in the throat, show up and tell your story, didn't appear anywhere on my old art. Why not? Was I hedging my bets so that people who might think I was too much would listen to the show anyway and get sucked in accidentally? Probably not, but this was a good opportunity to make a couple of brand-specific tweaks. I've been rocking the punching fear in the throat tagline for a year, and that phrase fits me like my favorite pair of jeans. You know the jeans I mean, we all have them. But, and that's a big old but, I didn't have my tagline on the art. Now, the previous version of my artwork isn't bad. My previous designer produced several mock-ups, and I selected this one of my own free will. But you know what? It's too safe, right? There is little edge, risk, or sass in the first version. And if you've been around here for any amount of time, I am all sorts of sassy. Now, what I call sassy could easily be described differently by others. Some might think a better word would be weird or freaky, but that's okay. We're all freaks. Now, for those of you I just offended by implying that you're freaks, I apologize, but that's kind of the point. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in being like everybody else that we're afraid to be identified as a freak. Why? Because the freaks come out at night? Now, some of you totally missed that song reference, and that's okay. I still love you. Or we're afraid of the freak label because we feel an insane pull to have everyone like and co-sign our decisions. Now, whether we're desperate not to be classified as a freak or we're too hung up on other people's blessing our decisions, both situations can be problematic. Life is much more interesting when we seek out and really grab onto our quirks, our idiosyncrasies, the things that make us unique. I'm okay with freaky, quirky, idiosyncratic. I'm okay with all of that language. Now, I'm not sure where you are in your journey to flying your freak flag, but I have been on that highway since I got those first ugly cat-eyed glasses in the 7th grade. Yep, I didn't dip a toe in. I jumped all the way into the freak water. I was a geeky, nerdy, too smart for a girl, classical piano playing, no rhythm having black girl in advanced placement classes, growing up in Central Jersey, and I knew nobody else like me. Well, except for the two siblings in my house, and they had that same smart, nerdy thing down, but I was definitely on my own with the lack of rhythm and the eclectic musical tastes. I know some of you are nodding your heads because you feel me. You have your own freak flags hiding in the back of your closet, don't you? Pull them out and wave them. I see you. And I feel you. Since I started my freak journey so young, I'm accustomed to not seeing the world the exact same way people around me do. This helped immensely as I shared my new podcast art concept with about a dozen people today. Now, most of the people I shared the design with loved it, and they offered minor tweaks. But two of them stopped just short of hating it. One of them, a dear, dear friend, completely didn't get it. She told me she thought the tagline was scary and violent. Sorry, Subi, but if I love you, you have to know you could end up on my podcast one day. Those are the breaks, so this is your day. And I'm bringing it back. She went on to ask, who punches someone in the throat? Through her text message, I could just hear her gasping and clutching her pearls. I laugh good and hard for about 7 minutes. Who punches someone in the throat? I do. And I want everybody to punch their confidence assassins in the throat so those wenches will be quiet. But guess what? One of my best friends in the world didn't like the design idea. So what? I immediately had two thoughts. One, I really love her, and we will always be friends. And two, this chick has never listened to my show. Both thoughts are good, but let's focus on the second one. She has never listened to my show. We have been friends for more than 25 years, so she knows me better than many, but she is not my audience. And the fact that she didn't dig my art didn't lessen my infatuation with it. We can still be friends even though we don't like the same stuff. I don't think any less of her because she thought punching fear in the throat was violent. For her, it might be a little freaky, but it really works for me. So I was struck by the fact that I have to be comfortable with me. So the first reminder I got was that I have to be comfortable with me. If others are comfortable, that's great, but it is not a requirement. So the first design concept I received from this new designer was totally not me. I didn't feel that little zing that let me know we were on the right track. My lack of an emotional response was similar to a feeling I got during a recent conversation with my coach about a marketing strategy. We were brainstorming a bunch of ideas, but none of them really excited me. Okay, so that's not what I actually said. You know me too well. What I actually said was that if I get an idea and it doesn't set my panties on fire, I need to keep working. Yep, always a lady. So if I get an idea and it doesn't set my panties on fire, I need to keep looking. So when the first podcast design came in and my panties stayed flame free, I knew I hadn't found the right design yet. I didn't quit. I just kept working. So as you're preparing to tell your story, ask for your raise, change to your job, remove toxic people from your world, or tell your story, there will be hits and misses. You will have way more ideas than you will implement, and some of them won't be worth all that much. But the process that you go through and the juices that are produced by thinking up all those ideas is priceless. Combine that with your willingness to be enthusiastically, unrelentingly committed to who you are, freak or not, and that's what will make you successful. Again, I'm encouraging you to let your freak flag fly. We all have quirks. Maybe you collect matchbooks from all the states, or you love polka funk music. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but I just love saying polka funk. So if you're into polka funk, you go. You will find much more freedom and joy in learning to accept who you are and exactly why you are special. Here are 4 quick benefits of flying your freak flag. 1, energy conservation. Pretending and acting like everybody else is exhausting. You're constantly worried that your mask will slip and everyone will get a glimpse of your inner freak. Be yourself and save that energy for doing great work. Benefit number 2 is becoming less judgmental. Once you have gotten really good at accepting who you really are, you'll be an expert at accepting the quirks you see in people around you. Bazinga! People are going to be drawn to you because you will be able to accept and champion who they are. And that benefits you no matter what your goal and purpose is. Benefit number 3 is more joy. Some of the things I think and do make me laugh harder than Kevin Hart ever could, and that guy is hysterical. Being able to laugh at my inner freak in a way that doesn't damage my self-esteem is a great gift. Now, do you think Kevin Hart would be anywhere near as funny if he was constantly trying to keep people from figuring out that he's short? I don't think so. Finally, the freaks are going to inherit the earth. Now, I'm not referring to the book by Chris Bergen, but I know that if Steve Jobs didn't wait for his boxers to catch on fire, there would be no iPhone. If Patricia Arquette was overly concerned with people thinking she was weird and she was an indie actress and she took bizarre roles, she wouldn't have just won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. Do you feel the wave coming? The freaks are running stuff, and we can too. Here's how to fly your freak flag. Turn it down. You need quiet time and introspection. That quiet time will help you get in touch with your inner freak. Find out what you like to do when no one is watching. Observe how you tackle challenges or organize a complex task. That's how you start to identify the zing when you feel it. Often, we're kind of asleep. We might even be, going through the motions, kind of in a coma. Spending time with yourself and getting comfortable with that zing wakes you up. Seek out your quirks. Instead of spending time trying to hide them, look for them and shine a big old light on them. What makes you special? What are the ways that you see the world differently from others? Write them down and figure out how you can use them to your competitive advantage. Remember the time. Thinking back to your childhood can be a great source of freak tendency discovery. You may find that you have hidden interests that go beyond your current professional or personal life that you've forgotten all about. Did turtles fascinate you when you were young? Good. What else have you forgotten? And why did that fascinate you? Finally, let it go. Let go of rigid assumptions and the weight of other people's expectations. There are many ways to be an exceptional woman, friend, family member. Follow your path that best suits your unique abilities. The things that qualify you to fly the freak flag make you more interesting and unique. Celebrate them. Independent thinking and a focus on what sets your panties on fire opens up more opportunities for you. And those opportunities will seem effortless and fun. So what do you think of the new design? Is your freak flag flying? Let me know in the comment box below and have a powerful week. I'll catch you next time.
Now you've been given permission to be more powerful and influence more people. If you've enjoyed this episode, please head over to allegrasinclair.com/iTunes and leave a review. It will help Allegra get the message out to more women that they can punch fear in the throat, show up, and tell their stories. We'll see you next time on the Allegrativity Powercast with Allegra Sinclair.